there's such high standards and how difficult it is to get, especially the presidential detail. So it's not a good situation. We've been closely following the controversy and confusion over enforcement of medical marijuana laws in the state. Cities regulate marijuana co-ops as they see fit. There are a lot of local ordinances that differ from city to city and are resulting in lawsuits, partly because of this. A new bill in the California legislature will try to create a new state agency to regulate medical marijuana. Meantime, owners of co-ops are left waiting and wondering if they'll still be operating.
I believe in what I'm doing. This is medicine. And if I'm going to get in trouble for providing medicine to patients that need it, then what am I going to say?
And you'll take that risk.
I take it every day when I open my store.
That's Yami Bolaño. She runs the Pure Life Alternative Co-op. This is on La Cienega in Los Angeles. She's been there for 6 years. She says the city tried to shut her down in the past because she changed managers, which is a technical violation of some ordinances. She says she has about 5,000 patients in her shop, including a man named Richard Hench, who we spoke with while we were there, who uses marijuana to relieve pain from a herniated disc in his back. So when you hear that people are trying to shut these places down, I imagine that's upsetting.
It's just ridiculous. It's somebody else trying to preach morality on us. Number one, it's effective as a medical substance. Number two, it's thousands of years old. I mean, it's sort of like prohibition. You're pushing against the mainstream anyway. More and more legal experts are saying it ought to be legalized.
Hench got his medical marijuana in that stapled brown paper bag, and you see the white piece of paper there has written instructions about keeping it in the trunk of his car till you get home, about not driving under the influence of marijuana, about not sharing it with anybody. Not sure how closely those rules are followed, because what we've learned in reporting this story is that clinics can be essentially as strict or as lax as they want to be in following the laws and the rules. Some seem like they're more legit than others. Some, of course, have been shut down by the feds. Here's some numbers to share with you. It's estimated that 1 million people in California alone use medical marijuana. In Los Angeles, how many clinics are there? Well, the low end, 300. The high end, as many as 1,700 pot clinics. And the woman in charge of regulating this for the city is Special Assistant City Attorney Jane Usher. Her job is to try to fix a system that has dissolved into essentially anarchy because of operators who flout the rules, open up wherever they want, and say if the city doesn't like it, take us to court. So that's what the city does. So you don't question legitimacy of medical marijuana to treat those who really need it?
I'm not a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I leave the medicine, the science to the doctors, to the medical community. I will say this, and we've ignored this in the course of our conversation. Federal law, which trumps anything I have to say, bans marijuana for all purposes.
Which some might consider an outdated view.
Understood that it might be an outdated view, according to some, but I'm obliged to give honor to federal law.
But you're not obliged to enforce it. You enforce state law.
That's right.
So what's your point?
My point is federal law bans marijuana for all purposes, and I will never stand in the way of federal authorities attempting to enforce federal law.
Jane Usher adding to the confusion here in Los Angeles. Josh Hoover is a gentleman who's producing a documentary calling Pot and the New Prohibition. He shot some of the only video of that controversial raid up in Oakland at Oaksterdam, the so-called Pot University there. We talked with him earlier today on Studio 11 LA about the state of California's medical marijuana enforcement.
It continues to be prohibition related. I mean, very much without the violence of alcohol prohibition, we're finding that it just continues, that the federal government will find new reasons to raid these medical cannabis dispensaries and, more importantly, I think find ways to seize assets.
Our brother Rich Lee was not just an attack on him, on one person or one organization. It was an attack on every single medical cannabis patient in the state of California.
Bringing down Richard Lee, he wasn't arrested, but they seized his assets. They went through his records. I think they may try to build a case against him. He was the biggest funder for Prop 19, and although Prop 19 didn't pass, I think he put up $1.5 million.
You know, one of the things that I keep bringing up, frankly, is that the current state law says that you can't make a profit. So if this Richard Lear guy had so much money that he could throw it into the Prop 19 campaign, maybe that is suggestive that he's making a lot of money.
It's possible.
Which is what the Fed said they were going to target.
Right.
Which is one of the reasons they picked that location. But then we've seen them also at some other smaller
Well, the Marietta
co-ops.
one seemed for that kind
They've
of thing,
also
but who
apparently
knows?
been said that they will act on behalf of local communities that have bans that request federal help. And that's why it's so confusing with people, right? Because federal law, marijuana is illegal for any reason, but in California, it's legal for medical reasons.
Well, you build this false sense of security where on the state level, you think as a cannabis dispensary, you're doing exactly what you need to do. But at any moment, you can get raided.
At any moment, you can get raided. You found that
Right,
with the stories that you have done. But again, I'm a little confused by what the city's attorney
Jane Usher, yeah.
had to say. So she's saying that federal law trumps everything.
Right.
But we have our own state laws, and that's what she's trying to enforce. And then there are some municipal statutes.
Regulations, yeah. What she's saying is that federal law trumps state law, which we understand. But in the past, the feds have said we're not going to deal with this. And so that's why under the state law, which legalized medical marijuana, they gave cities the authority to regulate them as they see fit, which is why it's so confusing, because different cities do it in a different way, which is why there's all of these lawsuits, which is why eventually the California State Supreme Court is going to try to clarify it all.
Does she take issue at all with the current federal raids?
No, not at all. She said, I mean, her point was, since it is illegal under federal law, if the feds choose to take action, we essentially can't do anything about that.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Okay. It's becoming as clear as smoke to me, I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
We'll stay on it. We'll try to keep clarifying it.
It'll get better for me, I'm sure.
Coming up, Tony's LA. He'll introduce you to